As you might know, 1.37 batch for EU4 coming soon. We'll be having plenty of content. Last 2 weeks I showed you content about the natives in the New World. Last week it was content about Venice, Italy, as well as the Netherlands. And finally today, for the newest Dev Diary, we'll talk about content for Hungary, Austria, Bohemia and Germany. So all of these nations pretty much did receive the content on the Emperor DLC, which was 4 years ago already. The time passed so fast. But, the thing is, since Emperor DLC, first of all, the development in UFO changed, and content specific for countries is just much bigger than it was before. There are much more features and content around it. So the goal for update for these 4 countries is mainly a facelift, meaning that we keep most of the stuff from Emperor DLC, but we are increasing it by a decent amount of additional content. Starting with Hungary, we are first of all specifying the issue that it is a strong country and it was historically a very important country for the region, but with updates for Poland, updates for the Ottomans, it became really hard to praise Hungary, especially for AIs which usually just die. The first change will be the tier 1 guarantee form that they will start with, which will be right now an Apostolic Kingdom, which will give you access to a local organization, the Holy Orders of Order of the Dragon. What it's giving, we'll see in a second, because besides this, you also get recover army morale speed and manpower in the True Faith provinces. Although the Dragon, it costs just 50 mil mana, but in exchange you get 1 base manpower in each of the provinces in the state. So you have 5 provinces, you pay just 10 mil points per death click. And besides that, also local garrison size and local garrison army damage, which will make it really hard for anyone to assault. Close to impossible unless you're behind. At the same time, there will be some free update changes, mostly the content around the events. As you see, there will be events around Croats, Slovaks, Transylvanian Saxons, how you deal with these cultures. There are also some unique guarantee forms that Hungary will receive as part of this new DLC, like employ the Cuban Lancers, that will overrunning enemy armies now grant 0.1 bonus army tradition, so even 1k stack wipe should give you that. But more importantly, you get 20% CAF cost and 25% CAF to inf ratio, opening you huge possibility to play as CAF only when you are Hungary. Interestingly, Hungarian ideas will get an update because of the content that they received. So first of all, we're gonna show how the current Hungarian ideas are looking like. They start with CAF compatibility and recover army morale speed, then some unrest, manpower, discipline, tax, production, domestic trade power, Heavens and the Heretics do not give any penalties, and gold depletion chance modifier. In the new ideas, there will be still CAF compatibility, but instead of morale recovery, it will be army tradition decay. Morale recovery was in a guarantee form. CAF to inf ratio as an ending bonus, so you can play fully CAF with the guarantee form and this bonus. We will have 100% CAF to inf ratio. Cuban unrest, manpower, these are the same. Discipline is also the same. Tax is same. Production is same. Province trade power is also the same. It is also the same. So the only small changes around here. A confirmation that the new content will be doubling the amount of Emperor mission tree, and this is how it looks like. I'll not get too deeply into all of the bonuses explained here. I'm linking the dev diary in the video description if you want to go and read it. But there will be obviously Hungarian economic missions that are focused on expanding your development, religion and cultural progress, and dealing with the ethnic tensions that you naturally have. There will be stuff like updating the privileges, bonus to Pest. Another update to one of the privileges, which is actually pretty nice, because every center of trade with 20 development in Carpathia will get an additional placement for a manufactory, death cost modifier and 50% local goods price modifier, which is massive. Unlocking your national ID as if this mission will give you flat 25 reform progress, which is really good, especially in early game when you are feeling the ideas. Same for advancing technology. When your ruler is with really good stats, you get 50 power points of the respective technology. The next branch is obviously about the expansion, and in this case it's about expansion to the Balkans and Poland. Into the Balkans you will receive subjugation castles within the Balkan tax, which will unlock you a possibility to empower the strong duchies. While the Polish branch, besides the old mission tree where you could just go and PU Poland, is adding you a possibility to strengthen the relationship between Poles and Hungarians, so you're gonna keep the historical friendship. and restoring the Jagiellonian Union will allow you to expand further to the Baltic and Ruthenian regions. You see this mission subjugate Serbia is giving you AE impact, super useful, but also if you complete this mission while you have at least 2 subject countries, the capital in the Balkan region, the strong duchies estate privileges will be empowered by an additional 50% vassal force limit contribution. Here it is, Hungary against restoration of freedom castles beyond Poland. We can then accept the Polish culture, and Poland-Hungarian Brothersby, which is gonna give us another CAF cost. So you're gonna have already minus 30% CAF cost without any idea groups. Next branch is also about conquest and how to deal with your another historical rival, the Ottomans. So for example, during the first offensive war, you're gonna get siege ability and manpower recovery speed, as well as some perma claims. Another estate privileges, this time Vegvar system, which is granting you 25% fort defense and minus 50% fort maintenance on the border forts. You can then also expand the order modifier from Order of the Dragon, which is gonna grant you 0.5 army tradition for every owned provinces with the Order of the Dragon assigned. So let's say you have 20 provinces, then you're gonna get additional 10 army tradition. Move to your Black Army, which as a reminder is a unique merc company that's Hungary is having. So recruiting that merc company is gonna grant you 1% army professionalism. And also Hungary gets the Black Region, which is Mercenary Leader Army Tradition modifier. This is nice because you can just recruit them, then just cancel, and after some time just recruit them again. So even if you're not using mercs, the Black Army does not take the army professionalism, you can just keep stacking it. Finally, you get the modifier, the Bulwark of Christianity, that's how Poles love to call themselves in 17th and 18th century. It's giving missionary strength versus heavens and against expansion impact, but also winning wars against heavens will now grant you 10 bonus power projection. Easy 100 power projection all the time. There is a completely new branch that was missed in the Imperial Sea, and that branch is fully focused on Adriatic oriented missions and dealing with Croatia and Venice. It's mostly some perma claims, but also an ability to get Union CB on Naples, and obviously bonuses to your trade in Venice node, which ideally should be your end node. The final branch of the mission tree is against you dealing with the Hasidic king of Bohemia, dethroning the Habsburgs, and fulfilling one of the Matthias Corvinus' ultimate ambitions. So this branch will have its own imperial incident, 2 Brazilian Union casus bellis, and an event deciding the fate of the empire. So you see Hungary either gets subjugation, casus belli, emperor and elector. Going a bit deeper into missions, you see by becoming emperor you're gonna get all of these bonuses, while dismantling nature is gonna give you all of this. So max effect of absolutes is really good, plus 10%. There's some small changes like revising the names of the provinces to be more consistent and less German, something that I'm sure that many Hungarians were asking for. Good news is that Romania mission tree is gonna get a full update, and that is gonna get this one additional branch of content. Let's move fully to Austria. First of all, they start that Archduchy of Austria wasn't created until 1452, it was a bit more split, the Styria and Austria proper weren't that really united. That's why you start with a privilege. House divided for nobility, that's giving all of this not fun modifiers. And you're gonna be able to get rid of these modifiers via 2 main paths, either taking this decision, so you have to get all of this, or going for a mission. If you do so, you're gonna get then this modifier removed, and for 20 years you're gonna get tax meta, manpower recovery speed, and monthly autonomy change. Maximilian I of Austria, the legendary Habsburg monarch, is gonna be part of the game right now via an event. It's a 5/5 ruler with unique trait, the Last Night, which is giving you CAF compatibility as well as army tradition from battles. They're letting us know that there are several additional new events around the historical territories of Sealy, Trent, as well as many other stuff. And there's also new privileges for the burghers that is part of their influence of the Swabian family, the Fuggers, on the country. And you see that this privilege is gonna give you scaling yearly inflation reduction as well as interest per annum for the cost of trade efficiency. This is how the mission tree is looking like. So many of the missions stay from the Emperor, there's some updates, and this is something that you probably noticed. There are branching missions that Austria is receiving. There's a new branch that is focusing on spreading your dynasty to Iberia. And second of all, they changed a bit layout that, because in the past you had to conquer region A, to unlock conquest of region B and bonuses for region B. Right now they will allow you to do all of this stuff simultaneously, so you don't have to go from A to B to C to D. You can do everything at once. Interestingly, one of the branches is allowing you to take a stance on how you deal with the HRE. Do you just focus on uniting HRE as an emperor and passing in reforms, or you just go and unite it by a land and conquering it and form Germany? You see on the left hand side we have got the German branch, while on the right hand side we've got the HRE branch. These are some highlights from the HRE branch, so mainly bonuses to even faster Imperial authority growth, some claim Imperial authority, etc, etc. While the German unification, from interesting stuff, you see that they will have additional more of armies for nobility privilege. You can remove the tech requirement to remove Germany, so you can get it much faster. I assume the best players will do it in probably like 20 years or so. The rest of the Austrian tree is about what Austria can conquer, so it's about the Iberian Peninsula, where it gets Castile, Spain as a PU if you manage to surpass them in development, but you also have to put a Habsburg on the front by yourself. It's not like you get it for the mission. And you see it can be done by multiple ways, like the random way where they don't have an heir and the ruler dies, or for an event as strategic marriage that Spain has, or you can use your favors to put relative as an heir there. But one change is that, to what we are used to, is that you don't really need to go to war with Castile. You can do it, but you don't have to get the PU. There's a way to get the PU via pen in this mission tree. To do that, you have to have 80 trust with Castile, 190 opinion, at least 4 deeper reputation, as well, of course, the restoration of your casus belli. And you see, they are also creating a new subject type that is called Incorporated Personal Union, that will be part of the content for Austria. That won't be so easy because there's an imperial incident about this union, meaning that you'll be given a choice that you either just cancel this union, or you're gonna get 25 AE to all of the Imperial Princes and decreased opinion from them by 75. Then obviously you have some conquest paths to get to the lands of Poland, Bohemia and Hungary. There is a small rework of how you can get PU CB on Poland, because in the past you had to conquer Galicia to get it, and now they changed it that Poland and their subjects to have less than 300 development. Is it not making it much worse? Because if you could go back into game, right? Poland starts with 200 development. Okay, 183 to be exact. Mazovia has another 37. That is already over 200. And then Lithuania has 268. That's almost 500 development that these nations have together. So you have to decrease it from 500, probably by the time you get this mission from 550 from Zlewikk and Conquest, to 300, so you have to take much more than just Galicia. You see that what they also changed for both conquest of Bohemia and Poland is that you can either just conquer these lands or PU the nation, and you're gonna get different bonuses depending which path you did. So for example, you see for Bohemia you get diplomatic relations and reputed design in the subject if it's PU. If it's conquest, it's legitimacy in the imperial growth modifier. Then of course you have part of conquest of the Balkans, where Hungary will be also an incorporated personal union. And what it means is that incorporated personal union will be unique subjects that Austria can establish, make even cheaper to integrate. What they also mention here that they are trying to make having a union with Hungary a bit more hurting for Austria, so it's not that easy to keep them. As you see, integrating Hungary now give their lands tons of autonomy, but also during the age of absolutes and later there will be a new disaster taking up for Hungary. What is really interesting is that when you meet certain requirements that are not easy during Age of Discovery, you get until the end of that age a bonus to your cav flanking ability, but more importantly 0.5 cav shock, which is insanely nice in the early game. Later it's okay-ish. But you know, also some other stuff like perma diplomatic reputation, diplomatic annexation cost. If not, Austria had it enough, but it seems just at the very end of the mission tree, so it's not that easy to get. But yeah, let's go back to the topic of Hungary, because they are mentioning that, you know, both Austria and Hungary don't really have formidable nations. That's why they are finally giving us the Austria-Hungary into the game with the whole reasoning why they did that. I have nothing against it since Italy and Germany already are forming based in game, why not Austria-Hungary? You can form it by either decision at Tech 20 on admin, or through going through Hungarian revolution disaster that is taking us mentioned from Age of Absolutism. As a result of the disasters, there are three: you either just crash the revolution, and then you can centralize the Hungarian lands, and because the same disaster goes for Hungary, it's the other way around. So the same disaster is for both countries, but instead of Hungarian lands will be Austrian, and the other way around. You can compromise with the nobility, which will allow you to form Austria-Hungary or Hungary-Austria, or you can just be beaten by the revolution, then the land of Hungary will be freed. This is how Austria-Hungary is looking like. They did not change the color yet, but they're asking for suggestions what should be the color of Austria-Hungary, but I'm thinking white anyway. But let's just better take a look at their national ideas. It's got 10% land morale. It seems that in general these ideas are a combination of Hungarian and Austrian. We saw Hungarian ideas today, let's just take the Austrian ideas. Austria has morale, improved relations, chance of the air, imperatority growth, diplomatic annexation cost, fort maintenance, national garrison growth, interest per annum, inflation, diplomatic reputation, missionary strength, relations, disciplinary force speed. Going to Austria-Hungary, morale, diplomatic reputation, no penalty for different religions, discipline, manpower accepted culture, 30% is really nice, global trade goods first modifier 10%, -1 unrest, state governing costs, global province trade power modifier, artillery power and artillery cost. These are much worse than Austrian ideas. Much worse. Like, some of the best things in Austrian ideas are missing. There's no improved relations, there's no imperial authority growth, there's no diplomatic annexation cost, there's no interest per annum, and where is the reinforced speed? If I was playing and forming Austria-Hungary, I would do it for roleplay, but never take these ideas over the Austrians. I mean, state government cost is really nice, I love this modifier, but you have to pump up these numbers, man. Let's move for content for Bohemia. First of all, they're informing us that they want to show more in-game that in 1444 Bohemia is still recovering for the Hussite Wars. That's why we're gonna start with a modify the aftermath of the Hussite Wars, where you receive between 30 and 50 devastation on average in all of your provinces, and also some additional modifiers right here. This modifier will be lasting for 30 years or after you complete the mission about it. They also immediately mentioning the same issue that Hungary and Austria had, so lack of formables. That's why they're bringing back the Great Moravia, another nation that is outside of this timeline, but it did exist before 1444. So you see that you'll be able to form it now. Before I show you the Great Moravia ideas, let's check ideas of Bohemia. Bohemia has advisor costs, imperatority, growth modifier, land leader fire, trance of heretics, legitimacy, infantry ability aspect, show damage received, unrest, tech cost, stab cost, cost of advisors with the ruler's culture. As for Great Moravia, it's gonna be 25% maximum power, 10% goods produce modifier, max absolutist effect 15%, this is really good. Overextension impact modifier, also very rare modifier, a missionary, more admin power, build time and development cost, legitimacy, trust of the true faith, discipline, and max absolutism. Again, the only thing that is kinda lacking it from me, that Bohemia has, is the imperatority growth, but yeah. Besides that, these are really good ideas. Well, maybe, yeah, okay. Because I was reading that yesterday, my first thought was, okay, these are really good, but we're military. Like, the only military, because it's not really military modifier, is maximum power. Besides that, you have discipline, so just this two. Giving something additional, like at least keeping the infantry ability that Bohemia had, would make this even better. Very important, both Moravia and Nitro nations will get access to the Great Moravia as a part of the free update, and there will be a small addition to the mission tree that will allow them to form it. It's especially for the Great Moravian achievements to make it, I wouldn't say less painful, but more fun. The mission tree itself from Bohemia will be having 33 gore missions and 3 branching missions, which is again double the size of what we had for Emperor. This is how it looks like. It's a very similar skeleton to the previous mission tree, and the first part of the mission will be obviously for conquest, and mainly recovering the lands of the Great Moravia. Then there will be also an Austrian part that will be a timed challenge with the different bonuses. So you see that Ottokar's Legacy mission, it's gonna give you co-creation cost. But if you still have modifier from the previous mission for humiliated the Habsburgs, you're gonna be able to keep this modifier as permanent. That is a mission that allows you to form the Great Moravia formable, and the council is also gonna get Svatopluk heir, that is military tactics and army tradition from battles. Part of the mission tree allows you to get a PO from Hungary, and there will be a part of it where you'll be having an ability to transfer ownership of Slovakia from Hungary to you. So it's not like it was in the past that you're taking first Slovakia for yourself and then you're POing Hungary. Now you'll be able to do that naturally for a mission tree. Interestingly, once you get the PO of Hungary, you'll also be able to take your spot as bulwark of Christianity, which will allow you the Order of the Dragon local organization, as well as CBs, subjugation CBs on all of the Balkan nations with the access to United Balkans casus belli. You'll obviously be able to deal with Poland, goddamn Poland in each of these mission trees today. This part of the mission tree will allow you to annex your Silesian subjects a bit cheaper, and also a stacking modifier for the diplomatic annexation cost that will allow you to get up to 15% decrease. Next part of the mission tree is about dealing with the H3 and establishing the Bohemian Commonwealth, where you'll be able to get subjugation casus belli on Saxony, on Brandenburg, decide if they're gonna be just your vassal or maybe you should make them a March or a PU. You'll get a special tier 5 guarantee from amount morale damage received, but also winning battles on your own territory is gonna grant you additional army tradition. Obviously, part of the mission tree is about just building up your infrastructure and economy and expanding the influence of your Prague University of Charles. How about the branching missions? This is kinda expected, but you'll be able to choose one of the two paths around your religion. Either you go Catholic or you go for Hussite. So the Catholic branch is focused on rooting out the Hussite heresy and then fighting for the victory of the true faith during the times of the Reformation. And if you prevail, you'll get upgrades to the religious diplomats' estate privilege, as well as permanent scaling modifier for diplomat and statesman advisors that you see here on these screenshots. Okay, how about the more interesting path? So Hussite. Hussite path will be first of all helping you survive, so by getting a Hussite Center of Reformation, which was already there, but then also expand your religion through cost of enforcing religion through the war being minus 33%, which might end up you forcing an incident in the empire that will turn its official religion to Hussite. There's much more stuff that they're mentioning here as well, that with part of this update they just don't want to show everything in the dev diary. The last nation that we cover in this dev diary is Germany, another nation that has a big mission tree, but it did feel lacking, so now it's much more expanded. There's a conquest mission tree. I don't really want to go too much inside this, but there's a conquest mission tree where they added Denmark and Jutland conquest with all of these modifiers. Part of it will be you choosing which is your main node. Is it Zlewikk or is it maybe the English Channel? There's path about the conquest of Italy, taking care of Hungarians, and of course Poland. There's an upgrade to the overseas mission tree that is gonna allow you to get a special Imperial Navy modifier and getting into much more colonization, including establishing the treaty port in China. So you see the modifier, the North Sea Navy port for Oldenburg is gonna give you all of this modifier, while Burn the Wooden Wall is an until the end of the game, moral of navies plus 10%. There's obviously an update to your economic missions, which again, I don't really want to get too much into details, but there are a lot of modifiers that you're having here, including the customs union estate privileges for the burghers, giving us minus 5% diplomatic annexation cost and 33% provincial trade power modifier in our subjects. There's also industrialization of Rhineland and Silesia, which is gonna allow you, once the industrialization is active in Tech 21, to get coal on specific provinces like Tachibush, Aachen. There's some other stuff like Germany getting diplomatic reputation, liberty design the subjects, vassalization acceptance, but also combining different effects into German industrialization, which is production efficiency and dev cost. 5% production efficiency is like nothing. I feel like they really like giving right now the modifiers for having a specific advisor, so the high level of the advisor you have, the better bonus you're having. So that's what the mission tree of Germany is also offering. So for example, through a statesman advisor type, for every level you can get 0.5 yearly absolutism, but also flat max absolute is 5. You can strengthen your great power actions, where intervening on the war is gonna give you additional power projection, while influencing a nation is gonna give you favors on this specific nation. You'll be able to get them radical reforms twice, but also additional culture conversion costs for German education. At the end, you'll be able to unlock the Kaiserreich guarantee form at tier 2, which is gonna give you a scaling 5% infantry combat ability from your militarization, as well as land maintenance modifier. And there's a note: the Kaiserreich bonus and guarantee for will depend on which country you're gonna form Germany. This is obviously, I assume, for the Prussian culture. So you have different modifiers for Nuremberg print, it's gonna be more focused on your economy and idea cost. Westphalian piety is on conversion. The naval traditions is allowing you the place in the trade post and trade efficiency, as well as naval combat bonus of the own cost. Army of a state, which was what you just saw. Imperial descent is allowing you to annex your subjects much cheaper and high chance to inherit your PUs. Saxon mining is about strengthening the iron, gold and copper provinces. Bavarian pride is strengthening the age ability staking and more splendor, while Fugger banking is strengthening your promote burgers bookkeeping Easter privileges, as well as some other nice total gameplay stuff. And this is a funny thing, if you're not one of these countries, get just 5% under inefficiency, which is probably the best modifier out of all of this. And there is much more content for Germany. This just video would take 1 hour if I was getting into every detail of them. But yeah, it's worth mentioning the max effect absolute is 20%. One thing that is very good is that they're also giving you some challenge when you form Germany by cultural fragmentation, which is gonna increase the promote culture cost. And you will not have a cultural union by forming it, which is the most OP thing about forming Germany. But instead you have the cultural unity that will be, as you see, increasing from different modifiers, and at a higher level you'll be able to decide which culture you're gonna integrate for 100 of national unity. So after you integrate 7 cultures, you'll just be able to abolish this guarantee form. My throat is hurting from one of the stuff that I had to comment on, but that was a lovely and big dev dive, and I'm happy about the changes. I know that some of you will be mad that, oh, why they improved the nations that were already added in the Emperor, why they're not taking care of, I don't know, Moldavia or Romania. Well, the reason was very simple and mentioned earlier. These nations had a decent mission trees, but very lacking compared to the mission trees of the recent DLCs. So I do understand the reason of upgrading this very important nations for the EU4. But anyway, in the next week there will be also very important nations card, but completely different types of them, because Big Boss will be talking about Hiskaifa, Hormuz, Oman, Theodoro, as well as Trebizond. For today guys, thank you so much for watching. Remember to leave a like on this video so we just reach more people with this cool knowledge, and of course subscribe to the channel to get notified about the future content. Bye!